Now, in the lead-up to Remembrance Sunday, we are highlighting just how important honouring veterans is.
Well, one charity that gives back to the veterans is the Armed Forces and Veterans Breakfast Clubs. There may be a clue in the title there.
Well, YouGov research has found that 41% of British Armed Forces veterans felt lonely or isolated after leaving the military, with more than 3 in 10 admitting that they have just one or no close friends.
It's such a transition for them, it really is, because it is their life and bond and the people they know, and then suddenly it's over. What do you do then? CEO of the Armed Forces and Veterans Breakfast Clubs, Dereck Hardman, joins us now. Dereck, good morning to you. We're just trying to outline the dilemma of all of this. It's great to be involved in it all, but then when it comes to an end, how you deal with it?
Well, it's very difficult for it's very difficult for civilians these days. If you think about it, everybody's looking for their tribe. You know, they go to gyms and to join football teams, Amdram. They go to all sorts of different clubs looking for their tribe. But when you think about the military, the vast majority of us join straight from school, which is a sort of regimented existence anyway, all heading in the same direction, all got the same ideology and views, and the military intensifies that. So when you get people who've been through a military career, you know, 10, 15, 20 years, they don't return to civilian life. They often become civilians for the first time. And then they've got to navigate that whole alien world that is Civvy Street for the first time.
Yeah.
And they've got this, they've been indoctrinated, they've been to be soldiers, sailors, airmen, airwomen, with a completely different set of standards and ideologies.
Those are the problems. Get those, and they're well spelt out by you. What is the solution, or how do the breakfast clubs help?
We put them back in that pseudo-military environment. We put veterans together. They speak the same language. They have the same standards and ideologies. They take the mickey out of each other. And they eat together, they break bread together, like they did when they served. And then often the breakfast clubs is just the beginning. After that, you get veterans helping each other. They've got each other's backs. It's just like when they were serving. When you knew, if you lived in a quarters area, you knew every single neighbour. You don't get that in civilian life. They knew all the names and knew what the job roles were. But and that's kind of what happens. We've now got over 518 clubs, a smattering in 15 countries around the world, and we've not had to try. It's been organic. They've just come together, and they find it so natural to be together in that tribe.
Well, it's a simple idea, isn't it? But it could be life-changing, and it is life-changing, I'm sure, for so many veterans, because so many veterans describe feeling abandoned after they leave the armed forces, that there's no support out there for them in that transition to civvy life.
Ellie, I couldn't have said that better myself. That's exactly the sort of thing that you hear me say quite often. They walk out of the gate for the last time and it feels like the door slams behind them. And then they've got to navigate this alien world where before you had a team of people behind you that back you up, and then you end up in civilian life, and that leads to isolation. And when you look at the stats you were reading out earlier on, one of the stats you missed off was there's 2 million vets in this country. 23% of them have contemplated suicide. That's,
dear.
That's like 250,000 people.
Whereas in the breakfast clubs, I suppose you all speak the same language, you understand each other, and even if it's, difficult things like the suicide contemplation, I mean, at least you're sharing it with someone. What can everyone do, Dereck? I mean, you're outlining the problems there and how the breakfast clubs are the solutions. How can the general public help you?
Well, we are now getting the breakfast clubs also has turned into a bit of a link between sort of the veterans and civilian life. Before the breakfast clubs, you saw veterans on Remembrance Day that we're coming up to on Sunday, but then they sort of disappeared again. Now we're getting breakfast clubs that are going to hospitals with Easter eggs for children at Easter or Christmas presents. Go and find your local breakfast club. afvbc.world is where you need to look. There's a whole support system we've put on there to help veterans with training, etc. Finding jobs, finding assistance. DWP has signed up with us. So if you go to that, you find your local club, go along, speak to people. It's not just, we're not just excluding anybody else. If you want to walk into a breakfast club and speak to vets and hear some of the amazing stories, some of them, you have to be recognised to get a medal, but some of the people I speak to on a daily basis, they say they were just doing a job, but they're absolute heroes.
Well, Dereck, I wish we had more time to talk about you with you, because it's so very interesting and I know helpful to get it out there and people to know what it's like. But look it up yourselves, the Armed Forces and Veterans Breakfast Clubs. Look them up and see what they do. Dereck Hardman, thank you. Appreciate talking to you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, think on that, and here's the Daily Reflection.